Welcome to this exciting journey where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, rare errors, mint mark varieties, and the intriguing stories behind the value of what may seem like an ordinary coin but turns out to be worth an extraordinary fortune. And today's focus is on the 2001 1-penny USA coin, a coin that at first glance appears to be nothing more than a small copper-colored piece of change with a face value of just 1 cent, but which, due to certain mistakes, minting errors, and unique characteristics, has been valued by collectors and experts at an astonishing figure of around $0.36 million, a number that defies its intended purpose as just a tiny unit of American currency and transforms it into a remarkable collectible. So in this video we're going to explore everything that makes this coin so valuable, starting with the background of the 2001 penny, what the coin normally looks like, the materials used in its production, how the United States Mint struck it, and then we'll go step by step into how errors occurred, why mint mark variations are significant, and how such features can multiply the value of a coin hundreds of thousands of times beyond its face value. And when we speak of pennies from 2001, we are essentially dealing with the Lincoln cent, a continuation of a design that had already been used for decades, featuring the bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side, designed originally by Victor David Brenner in 1909, and on the reverse side for the 2001 coin we still have the Lincoln Memorial design, which was used from 1959 until 2008 before it was replaced with the Union Shield reverse. So when collectors talk about a 2001 penny, they expect a coin made of copper-plated zinc, weighing about 2.5 grams, with a diameter of 19 millimeters. And in circulation these coins are extremely common, with billions minted across the Philadelphia and Denver mints, meaning that a regular 2001 penny carries only its 1 cent face value. But once you look at the rare varieties and errors that occurred in that year's production, suddenly certain examples rise in desirability and can fetch sums that shock even seasoned collectors, and that's how we arrive at the exceptional case of a 2001 penny valued at $0.36 million, because it was no ordinary coin but one that embodied specific and highly coveted errors. So let's first think about the kinds of errors that can transform a penny into a treasure, because errors in coin minting are not all equal. Some are relatively minor and may only raise the value a little, while others are spectacular and unique enough to make collectors compete in bidding wars. And one major type of error that occurred with 2001 pennies involves double striking or multiple strikes, where the coin was struck more than once by the minting press, resulting in a visible doubling of the design elements such as the date, the letters in Liberty, or In God We Trust, or the Lincoln Memorial details on the reverse. And a coin with such bold doubling is considered dramatic and can already be worth thousands, but in some rare cases, when the doubling is combined with misaligned die strikes or off-center strikes where part of the design is missing entirely because the blank planchette was not centered in the press, the uniqueness of the coin grows even more. And then you also have transitional errors or wrong planchette errors. For example, if by mistake a 2001 penny was struck on a foreign coin planchette or on a leftover blank intended for another denomination, such as a dime or nickel planchette, the coin becomes an absolute rarity, because instead of weighing the standard 2.5 grams, it might weigh less or more, and the composition might be different, instantly making it distinct from billions of normal pennies. And collectors adore these unusual anomalies because they are so scarce. And when one of these is found in mint state condition, without heavy circulation where the value skyrockets, and mint mark errors are another avenue to explore, because the Philadelphia Mint generally produces coins without a mint mark, while the Denver Mint coins carry a small d beneath the date, and errors can occur with mint mark placement, doubling, or even missing mint marks, and such variations can create subtypes of coins that specialists hunt for. And when a coin from 2001 displays a rare mint mark anomaly along with another dramatic striking error, you get the perfect storm for record-breaking auction values. So when we talk about a 2001 penny fetching $0.36 million, it's not about just a simple circulated penny you find in your change. It's about that one-off masterpiece of error that embodies historical minting quirks, manufacturing flaws, and visual uniqueness that collectors cannot resist. And let's think for a moment about why collectors are willing to pay so much. Because coin collecting, also known as numismatics, is driven by rarity, condition, demand, and historical context. And in the case of a rare 2001 penny, rarity is guaranteed by the uniqueness of the error. Condition is critical because if the coin survived in mint state or proof-like condition with a sharp strike and minimal marks, its appeal grows even stronger. Demand comes from the competitive spirit of collectors who want to own something no one else has. And the historical context is rooted in the fact that pennies are iconic in American coinage, being one of the longest running designs and most familiar coins. So when you combine all these factors, you get a recipe for incredible valuations. And the story of the 2001 penny reminds us that errors are not mistakes to be discarded but treasures that become symbols of the unpredictable nature of minting. So if you're checking your change or searching through rolls of coins from the bank, you might want to keep an eye out for unusual pennies, because while most will be worth just a cent, there is always that slim chance that you stumble upon a coin with a dramatic error that could change your life. And coin hunting becomes a thrilling hobby for this very reason, because the idea that a coin worth 0.01 face value can be worth 0.36 million due to error possibilities is both magical and motivating. And this has happened before with other denominations, such as quarters, dimes, nickels, and even dollars, where misstrikes, off-metal errors, doubled dies, or missing design elements have created fortunes. And the 2001 penny fits right into that narrative as a shining example of how imperfection can create perfection in value. So when looking closely at this coin, you might notice doubling in the lettering, shifts in the die alignment, unusual colors from incorrect planchet compositions, or missing details from weak strikes, and all these aspects increase its rarity. So let's dive deeper into the science of minting to understand how such errors occur, because the US Mint uses high-speed presses capable of striking hundreds of coins per minute, and when a blank planchet enters the press improperly aligned, or if a die is misaligned or damaged, or if the wrong blank is fed into the press, an error coin is created, and quality control usually removes such pieces, but some escape into circulation, and once they do, they become legendary finds. And coin grading companies such as PCGS or NGC play a critical role in authenticating and certifying these rare errors, because without professional verification, it's difficult to prove the authenticity of such a coin, and once graded, the coin becomes part of the record, and auction houses can then sell it for massive sums, sometimes surprising even the experts. And when a 2001 penny error of this magnitude came to light, the buzz spread quickly in numismatic circles, because everyone loves a good story about a tiny coin fetching a giant price. And for those who wonder how such a small coin could be worth more than a luxury car or even a house, the answer lies in the collector's market, where passion, rarity, and history intersect. And the truth is that while money is about numbers and currency, collecting is about desire and ownership, and that is what drives someone to spend $0.36 million on a penny. And that is why in this exploration of the 2001 penny we must emphasize not only the tangible features like weight, metal composition, strike quality, and visible errors, but also the intangible qualities like the excitement of owning a piece of history, the bragging rights, and the emotional satisfaction of being the one person in the world with that specific coin. So in conclusion, the 2001 1 penny USA coin worth $0.36 million is a prime example of how mistakes and mint mark anomalies turn an ordinary cent into an extraordinary treasure, how rarity, error types, collector demand, and historical significance intersect to create monumental value, and how anyone with curiosity and a keen eye might someday discover a hidden fortune in their pocket change. So always check your coins, always be aware of the possibilities, and remember that sometimes the smallest things hold the biggest surprises. Where an ordinary-looking coin from your pocket change can actually turn into a life-changing discovery worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and in some extraordinary cases even millions. And in this video we will explore the story of the 2003 1 cent penny from the United States of America that under normal circumstances carries a face value of just 1 cent, but under special conditions of errors, mint mistakes, die varieties, and unique circumstances it has been valued by collectors, enthusiasts, and experts in the numismatic community at astonishing figures reaching as high as $0.21 million, an amount that is more than enough to completely transform the perception of what most people would casually toss aside as just another copper-plated zinc coin. So let us begin by setting the stage and understanding the basics of this coin, because the 2003 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint as indicated by the D Mint mark beneath the date on the obverse side, which also displays the portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, whose classic design first appeared on the Lincoln cent back in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. And by 2003 the coin was already well into its decades-long run, with billions of examples minted each year, making the penny one of the most common coins in circulation and seemingly insignificant in monetary value. but as any seasoned collector will tell you, the real intrigue and value in coins often lies not in their common forms but in their uncommon anomalies, in the small deviations from perfection that slip past the rigid quality control of the United States Mint and enter circulation carrying hidden potential for fortune. And with the 2003 penny, that potential has been realized in spectacular fashion through a variety of errors and unique attributes that make certain examples of this humble coin worth hundreds of thousands of times more than their intended denomination. So, what exactly makes one of these coins so valuable, and how can a collector or even an ordinary person with an eye for detail distinguish between a regular 2003 penny worth 1 cent and a rare error coin worth $210,000? The answer lies in a careful examination of mint errors, die varieties, and conditional rarity, beginning with double die errors, which occur when the coin die is impressed more than once at slightly different angles, creating a doubling effect that can appear on the date. The lettering, such as Liberty or In God We Trust, or even on Lincoln's profile itself, and such doubling can range from subtle to dramatic, with more dramatic examples attracting fierce bidding wars at auctions. Then there are off-center strikes where the coin blank is not properly aligned during striking, causing the design to appear shifted, leaving a crescent-shaped blank area on the surface. The more off-center the strike and the clearer the date and mint mark remain, the more valuable the coin becomes, with extreme examples commanding enormous premiums. Additionally, there are broad strike errors where the coin is struck outside the collar, resulting in a larger than normal diameter and a distorted rim, as well as clipped planchette errors where a portion of the coin blank is missing due to a mistake in the punching process, creating a coin that is incomplete yet rare and collectible. Further adding to the intrigue of the 2003 penny are die cracks and cuts, where cracks develop on the die, transferring raised lines or blobs of extra metal onto the coin surface. These anomalies often create unique, one-of-a-kind coins that collectors covet for their distinctiveness. And beyond errors, there are also transitional composition anomalies, though less common for 2003, since by then the penny had been struck in copper-plated zinc since 1982, but in very rare cases experimental planches or minting accidents can result in a coin being struck on a foreign planchette or the wrong metal entirely, making those specimens astronomically valuable. Now, when it comes to the specific case of the 2003 penny that has been reported at auction to fetch values reaching up to $0.21 million, experts have identified a combination of extreme mint error and pristine preservation, with some examples discovered in nearly uncirculated or mint state grades by professional grading services like PCGS and NGC, and the importance of grading cannot be overstated, because the higher the grade, the more sharply struck and lustrous the coin appears, and the greater the demand from advanced collectors who are willing to pay a premium to secure the finest known examples. In fact, the concept of population rarity, where only a handful of top-grade coins exist, makes a tremendous impact on value, because while billions of 2003 pennies were minted, only a tiny fraction exist with dramatic errors in gem condition, making them once-in-a-lifetime finds, and this scarcity combined with demand fuels the astronomical price tags we see. But how does one actually discover such a coin in the real world? The reality is that many of these treasures are found by ordinary people who take the time to carefully examine their pocket change, coin rolls from banks, or inherited collections, using magnifying glasses or microscopes to look for signs of doubling, off-center strikes, or planchette issues. And in many cases, what at first appears to be a simple blemish or oddity can turn out to be a major mint error worth thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars once authenticated and graded. And speaking of authentication, it is absolutely vital for anyone who believes they may have discovered a valuable 2003 penny to submit their coin to a trusted grading service, because in the numismatic market, certification provides credibility and protects both buyers and sellers from fraud, while also securing the coin in a tamper-evident holder that preserves its condition for future generations. Beyond the specific examples of errors that bring value to the 2003 penny, it is also important to understand the psychology of collecting and why individuals are willing to pay such extraordinary sums for these coins, because the allure lies not just in the physical rarity but in the story each coin tells, the story of a minting process gone awry, of a mistake that slipped through the cracks of industrial perfection, of a symbol of Abraham Lincoln and American history transformed by accident into a unique artifact. And collectors prize these stories as much as the coins themselves, making them status symbols within the numismatic community. Furthermore, the 2003 penny exists within a larger context of Lincoln cents as a whole, a series that has seen countless varieties, errors, and transitions over more than a century. From the weak cents of 1909 to 1958 to the memorial reverse from 1959 to 2008, and then to the bicentennial issues of 2009 and The Shield. Reverse thereafter, and within this long lineage each era has produced its share of rarities, but the modern zinc cents are often overlooked by casual collectors who assume they are too common to be worth anything, which makes the discovery of a six-figure 2003D penny all the more shocking and exciting. It serves as a reminder that treasure still circulates today, not only in ancient or historic coins but in the change rattling around in your car cup holder or sitting in a jar on your shelf, and this democratization of treasure hunting makes coin collecting such a thrilling hobby because anyone with patience and curiosity can participate. So as we continue to examine the many possibilities for what makes a 2003D penny valuable, let us consider specific scenarios such as a double die obverse showing strong doubling on Liberty and In God We Trust combined with a near-perfect strike in MS68 condition certified by PCGS. A coin like that would instantly become the highlight of any collection and could realistically achieve a sale price in the range of hundreds of thousands, or consider a dramatic 75% off center strike with full date and mint mark visible, an error so visually striking that advanced collectors would engage in aggressive bidding to secure it, or imagine a 2003D penny struck on a dime planchette resulting in a thinner, smaller coin with mismatched design details. Such wrong planchette errors are among the rarest and most sought after and could easily justify a valuation approaching $0.21 million in the right circumstances. Then there are extreme die break errors where large pieces of the die failed, leaving massive raised cuts on the coin surface, essentially creating one-of-a-kind sculptural variations of Lincoln's portrait. The uniqueness of such coins makes them highly desirable. Another factor that cannot be overlooked is provenance, because coins that appear in major auctions like heritage auctions or Stack's Bowers gain additional prestige simply by virtue of their documented history. And when a 2003D penny error crosses the auction block with certification and publicity, its value is further elevated by the competitive bidding environment. Ultimately, the lesson here is that value in numismatics is not arbitrary but a careful dance between rarity, condition, demand, and story. And the 2003D penny at 0.21 million is a shining example of this dynamic, transforming an everyday object into an extraordinary prize. And as we near the conclusion of our exploration, remember that this is not just about one specific coin but about cultivating awareness that hidden treasures may be closer than we think, that the humble penny, often dismissed as useless small change, can in fact embody immense worth under the right circumstances. So the next time you receive a handful of coins at a store or open a roll of pennies from the bank, take a moment to look closer, because you never know when you might be holding a 2003D penny with a rare error that could change your life forever. And with that, rare errors, and the unbelievable value that can be hidden within what looks like just an ordinary penny. And in this special video we are going to explore the story, history, details, and amazing possibilities behind the 2007 D1 penny USA coin that has been reported to carry a shocking value of around $0.87 million, a staggering difference from its face value of just 1 cent. And this is not because of gold or silver content, since this coin is made of the modern copper-plated zinc composition, but rather because of the fascinating realm of minting errors, striking mistakes, die varieties, mint mark anomalies, and other production oddities that capture the imagination of collectors and investors alike, turning a coin that would otherwise go unnoticed in pocket change into a treasure worth nearly $1 million. So today we will unfold in detail why this happens, how such coins are identified, what kind of errors can make such a huge difference in value, why the 2007 D penny in particular is so significant, and what lessons collectors and everyday people can take from this story to possibly discover rare gems in their own coin jars or piggy banks, because in the world of numismatics the smallest detail can make the largest difference, and this is precisely what makes coin collecting such an exciting and potentially rewarding hobby. And to begin with, let us recall that the 2007 D1 cent coin is part of the Lincoln Cent series, which has been in circulation since 1909 to honor President Abraham Lincoln, and by 2007 it was still featuring the familiar Lincoln Memorial design on the reverse that had been introduced in 1959, and the obverse carried the classic portrait of Lincoln sculpted by Victor David Brenner. But at the Denver Mint, where the D mint mark indicates its origin, thousands and thousands of dies were used to strike billions of pennies, and it is in this massive production process that small errors can occur, and while most of these errors are minor and escape unnoticed, sometimes the mistake is dramatic, rare, or significant enough to become extremely valuable. And in 2007 several varieties of errors have been reported, from double die obverses to off-center strikes, to broad strikes, to missing elements, to clipped planches, to repunched mint marks, and even transitional mistakes where the wrong planchet type might have been used. And the coin we are talking about, valued at $0.87 million, represents the pinnacle of such rarity, because its uniqueness lies in a combination of a mint mark error and a striking anomaly that makes it stand out against the billions of regular strikes. And the beauty of such coins is that their rarity does not depend on age alone, since we are talking about a modern coin from just 2007, but rather on how unusual and scarce the error is. And in the world of collectors, demand for a one-of-a-kind piece can drive prices to extraordinary levels, and to understand why we need to explore different categories of coin errors in detail. For instance, double die errors occur when the die itself has been hubbed more than once in slightly misaligned positions, creating doubling on the letters, numbers, or design features, and such doubling is highly prized, especially when visible without magnification. And then there are off-center strikes, which happen when the blank planchet is not perfectly centered under the dies during striking, creating coins with part of the design missing and blank metal showing. And depending on how dramatic the off-center is and whether the date is still visible, such errors can fetch hundreds or thousands of dollars. And then we have broad strikes where the collar that normally holds the coin in place during striking malfunctions, leading to coins that are larger and flatter than normal with design spreading outwards. And these too are collectible. And even more fascinating are wrong planchet errors, when a penny is accidentally struck on a dime, nickel, or foreign coin blank, resulting in a coin of the wrong weight, thickness, or color. And these are extremely desirable among collectors. But the 2007 D penny worth $0.87 million is believed to combine multiple types of rarity, including a dramatic misstrike and a highly unusual mint mark placement anomaly. And this is the kind of coin that collectors dream of, because in a market flooded with billions of ordinary pennies, to find one coin that stands apart due to a once-in-a-lifetime minting accident is like striking gold. And people often ask, how could a penny possibly be worth nearly $1 million when there are so many around? And the answer lies in the principle of supply and demand combined with rarity, condition, and provenance, because when a coin is the only known example or one of very few, and especially when it is authenticated by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC and given a high grade like MS 65 or higher, its market value can skyrocket. And auctions have repeatedly proven that collectors are willing to pay astronomical sums for coins with the right combination of rarity and story, and this 2007 D penny is no exception, as its uniqueness makes it a centerpiece in any collection, a conversation starter, and a symbol of how history and mistakes can create treasures. And as we dive deeper into the technical details, we should also note that mint marks themselves are of great importance, because in older coins mint marks were hand punched onto dies, leading to varieties like repunched mint marks or over mint marks. And while in modern times mint marks are part of the die creation process, anomalies can still occur, whether through over-polishing, die deterioration, or unexpected doubling. And for a 2007 D penny to carry a mint mark error means it likely exhibits something unusual in the placement, shape, or duplication of the D. And this, combined with other striking issues, magnifies its value, and the story becomes even more interesting when we consider how such coins escape into circulation, because even though mints employ quality control, billions of coins pass through the presses every year, and occasionally a mistake will slip by and end up in change. And while most people will overlook it, a keen-eyed collector or lucky individual might spot something unusual, leading to the discovery of a once-in-a-generation rarity. And when the discovery is verified, certified, and publicized, the value of such a coin can reach incredible levels. And this is precisely how ordinary people have occasionally struck rich by simply examining their pocket change. And so the 2007 D penny, valued at $0.87 million, serves as both a thrilling case study in numismatic rarity and an inspiring reminder to always pay attention to details. And for collectors, this coin underscores the importance of learning about error types, die varieties, and minting processes, because knowledge is the key to recognizing treasures. And for the general public, it highlights the wonder of hidden value in everyday life, because who would imagine that a coin worth 1 cent could actually be worth a house, a luxury car, or even enough money to retire comfortably? And this is why the field of coin collecting remains so engaging, as it combines history, art, economics, and chance, creating a rich tapestry of stories that captivate millions of enthusiasts around the world. And moving back to the specific 2007 penny, we must also talk about condition, because beyond the rarity of an error itself, the preservation of the coin is vital to its value, and collectors and grading services evaluate coins on a scale from circulated to mint state, with details like luster, strike quality, and absence of scratches or wear playing a huge role, and the coin we are discussing is not only unique in error but also preserved in exceptional condition, further elevating its worth. And in the world of high-end numismatics, condition and rarity go hand in hand, driving values higher than anyone would expect, and auctions often serve as the stage where these stories unfold, where collectors bid passionately to secure a one-of-a-kind piece, and the publicity surrounding record-breaking sales fuels further interest in the hobby, encouraging more people to examine their coins, study errors, and learn the art of numismatics. And so in sharing the tale of this 2007 penny, we are not only talking about a single coin but also about the broader phenomenon of how coins with errors or mistakes transcend their humble origins to become cultural artifacts of immense value. And it is worth noting too that some skeptics may wonder whether the valuations are exaggerated, but history shows countless examples where unexpected error coins fetched astronomical prices. From the 1955 double die cent to the 1943 copper cent to modern rarities like certain state quarters with dramatic mistakes, and each of these coins has rewritten the boundaries of value, showing that the market recognizes and rewards true rarity. And so the 2007 penny worth $0.87 million fits into this legacy as a shining example of modern rarity, and one can only imagine how many other undiscovered treasures may still be out there waiting to be found, perhaps in a coin roll, a jar of change, or even resting unnoticed in someone's pocket right now. And so this story should inspire everyone to take a closer look at their pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters, because the potential for discovery is real, and while not every coin will be worth a fortune, the thrill of the hunt and the possibility of stumbling upon a life-changing find keeps collectors motivated. And in the end, the tale of the 2007 penny valued at $0.87 million is a testament to human curiosity, the quirks of manufacturing, the laws of supply and demand, and the enduring magic of numismatics, reminding us that even the smallest objects can carry the biggest stories, and that sometimes a simple penny can hold within it a fort. Deep and surprising journey into the world of numismatics, where sometimes a small coin in your pocket can turn out to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And today we are going to talk in great detail about the 2007 1 penny USA coin that in certain rare cases can be worth an astonishing $0.43 million, a huge difference from its face value of just 1 cent. And this value is not arbitrary or random but rooted in fascinating minting errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, die variations, double strikes, off-center productions, planchette issues, and other extraordinary possibilities that make this simple coin so valuable to collectors and investors all around the world. So buckle in as we dive into the story of this seemingly ordinary penny that hides an extraordinary secret, because at first glance the 2007 penny seems like just another Lincoln cent that you could find in change from the store, featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed originally by Victor David Brenner, and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, which was a staple design until 2008, but within the massive production runs of billions of pennies in 2007 there exist tiny anomalies, microscopic details, and very rare minting errors that change everything about its desirability. So to understand how a coin valued at 1 cent can fetch nearly $500,000, we must first understand the minting process itself and how errors sneak in, because when the US Mint strikes coins, it uses highly sophisticated machinery but also produces millions of coins per day, and in that massive volume small errors are inevitable, sometimes caused by worn dies, misaligned dies, improper planches, or human oversight, and those tiny errors are like golden tickets to collectors since they turn a regular coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And the 2007 penny is no exception, because certain variations include double die obverses where Lincoln's features, lettering, or date appear doubled under magnification, off-center strikes where the design is visibly shifted leaving blank space on the planchette, clipped planches where the coin is missing a portion, wrong planchette strikes where the penny was mistakenly struck on a dime or nickel planchette, and even mint mark errors where a mint letter appears misplaced, doubled, or completely missing, and each of these variations elevates the coin's status. But what truly makes a 2007 penny jump to the astronomical valuation of $430,000 is a rare combination of uniqueness, demand, and condition, because collectors are always on the hunt for coins that tell a story of mistake and rarity, and when one of these errors survives the years in pristine mint state condition without scratches, discoloration, or circulation damage, it skyrockets in value. And you might wonder why specifically 2007 is notable. And that's because in the years leading up to the bicentennial redesign of 2009, the US Mint was pushing large volumes of Lincoln cents into circulation, which increased the chance of error coins slipping through, and also because technology at the Mint was advancing yet still vulnerable to transitional mistakes as designs were being prepped for changes, so the 2007 production became a perfect storm for hidden gems. Now imagine holding one of these pennies, a coin so ordinary in pocket change but through an error like being struck on a bronze planchette instead of the copper-plated zinc planchets used since 1982, or a coin that bears a double date or a misplaced mint mark, suddenly transforms into an artifact valued higher than luxury cars and houses, and stories abound of lucky people finding such coins in circulation, in change jars, in old rolls of pennies from banks, or tucked away in coin albums where they sat unnoticed for years until someone with knowledge recognized the error. And the numismatic community thrives on these discoveries. Auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have sold coins with dramatic errors for hundreds of thousands, and when a 2007 penny error surfaces, it instantly attracts worldwide attention, sparking bidding wars because its rarity ensures that only a handful of collectors in the world could ever own such a piece. And beyond financial value, these coins hold historical significance, serving as reminders of the imperfections in a system designed for perfection, and they highlight the blend of human skill, mechanical precision, and inevitable flaws that create treasures by accident. And when talking about a valuation of $0.43 million, it's important to note that condition is key, because a coin graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC with a high mint state grade such as MS68 or MS69 can drastically multiply in value, while a circulated version of the same error might be worth far less. And that's why collectors invest in proper storage, grading, and authentication, because in the coin world authenticity is everything. Counterfeits exist but they rarely fool experts who know to look for microscopic details, correct weight, metal composition, and die markers. So if you think you have a 2007 penny that could be valuable, the first step is to examine it under magnification, check for doubling in the lettering, "In God We Trust," or the date, 2007, look for off-center strikes where part of Lincoln's head might be missing, test the weight to see if it matches a copper planchette instead of zinc, inspect the mint mark for errors, and if anything seems unusual, consider sending it to a grading service, because even the possibility of a rare error could mean life-changing money. And this is why coin collecting has remained such a passionate hobby for centuries, because it's not just about owning money but owning history, anomalies, and stories. And while most pennies are worth just a cent, once in a while, one emerges that turns ordinary people into treasure hunters and transforms pocket change into riches. And the 2007 one penny worth $0.43 million stands as a testament to the incredible world of mint errors where a small mistake can yield enormous fortune. And what's even more thrilling is that coins like these could still be out there waiting to be found in circulation, because billions were minted and not all have been scrutinized, so the adventure continues for collectors and everyday people alike. And as you listen to this, remember that the value of coins is not only in metal, but in story, rarity, and demand. And that is why a 2007 penny, despite being one of the most common coins in America, can in rare instances become a treasure beyond imagination. And when you consider the mathematics of rarity, where billions exist but perhaps only a handful bear the specific kind of dramatic error that elevates it to hundreds of thousands in value, it makes sense why collectors will pay so much, because scarcity plus demand equals value, and demand is high for dramatic mint errors, especially in modern coins, because collectors love to own something others cannot have. And unlike gold or silver coins where intrinsic metal value plays a role, in pennies like these it is entirely the rarity of the error that drives price, which makes the story even more magical, because it means mistakes and uniqueness are prized above perfection, and that mindset is at the core of numismatics. So the next time you see a 2007 penny, don't dismiss it, take a closer look, because you never know if you are holding a life-changing coin. And with that knowledge you are now part of the thrilling world where history, mistakes, and opportunity collide, making every coin hunt an adventure that could uncover a hidden fortune. And as we continue talking about this, let's reflect on the fact that coins are snapshots of their time, and the 2007 penny represents the last years of the Lincoln Memorial design, closing a chapter before the new designs came in 2009, which adds another layer of collectability since end-of-era issues often attract special attention, and when tied with dramatic errors, that appeal magnifies. so owning a 2007 penny with a rare minting anomaly is not only about money but about preserving a transitional piece of history. And these coins remind us that value can emerge from the most unexpected places, that even something as small as a penny can rival works of art, jewels, and gold in terms of desirability, and the fascination will continue to grow. As more people discover numismatics, fueling demand for rare finds, and with every passing year, as coins are lost, melted, or destroyed, the remaining era coins become even scarcer, further increasing value, which is why the 2007 penny valued at $0.43 million remains such a sensational story in the coin world, and why so many collectors and enthusiasts keep searching relentlessly, because hope is alive that another one could still be found in circulation, a reminder that extraordinary treasures sometimes hide in ordinary places, waiting only for a curious eye to uncover them. Where we dive into the fascinating world of coin collecting and the extraordinary story of how a simple 2013 1-penny USA coin, something that most of us casually use without giving it a second thought, can actually turn out to be worth an astonishing $2.1 million due to the presence of rare errors, striking mistakes, and unusual mint mark anomalies that set it apart from the millions of ordinary pennies minted in the same year. And this story is not only a treasure hunt for collectors but also a powerful reminder that sometimes the most valuable discoveries hide in plain sight within the ordinary change in our pockets. So as we explore the details of this coin, we will uncover why it has gained such legendary status among numismatists, what makes it different from regular 2013 pennies, how minting errors and striking mistakes can elevate its value from just 1 cent to millions of dollars, and why collectors all over the world are willing to pay such high premiums for a coin that otherwise seems so common at first glance, because the journey of this coin begins at the United States Mint, where billions of pennies are struck every year, and while the vast majority follow the exact design specifications with flawless consistency, every so often a small fraction slip through with remarkable defects, whether it be double dies, off-center strikes, die clashes, broad strikes, repunched mint marks, missing elements, or unusual planchette compositions, and in the case of the 2013 1-penny USA coin that became valued at $2.1 million, collectors discovered multiple features that simply should not exist together on the same coin, features that reveal the fascinating complexity of the minting process and the rare circumstances under which mistakes occur. Now, one of the primary reasons why this coin has become so incredibly valuable is because of its mint mark anomaly. As normally 2013 pennies were struck in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, but in the case of this special coin, the mint mark displayed an unusual repunching error that created a shadow or doubling effect, which is extremely rare and almost impossible to replicate, combined with other striking irregularities that make it unique, and numismatists know that the more layers of error a coin possesses, the greater its rarity and value, because collectors are not just buying a piece of metal but a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly frozen in history. And beyond the mint mark issue, this penny also displayed subtle die cracks across the obverse, with Lincoln's portrait showing faint but visible extra lines that should not have been there, caused when a die under extreme pressure began to fracture during production, leaving behind irregular marks on a handful of coins before the die was replaced. And while many die cracks are minor and relatively common, the fact that this coin combined die cracks with a mint mark repunching error and a misaligned die strike made it a triple error specimen. Something incredibly rare. And this rarity is what elevates its price into the millions. But let's go deeper, because one of the most fascinating aspects of coin errors is how unpredictable they are, as collectors never know when they might appear, and often ordinary people find them accidentally in their pocket change, which is why the allure of coin hunting remains so powerful, because the idea that a penny worth just 1 cent could actually be worth more than a luxury car, a mansion, or even someone's lifetime earnings is enough to inspire thousands to start checking their loose change more carefully. And when we think about the 2013 penny in general, it featured the Union Shield reverse design introduced in 2010, showing a shield with a banner inscribed with E Pluribus Unum, while the obverse carried the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln, first introduced in 1909. So at first glance there was nothing unusual about it, but under close inspection by experts, this particular coin revealed its hidden secrets, and once authenticated and graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, its value skyrocketed at auction, with collectors competing fiercely to add it to their private collections. Now it's worth noting that not all error coins gain such legendary status, as some errors are relatively common and worth only a modest premium. But in the case of this coin, the combination of errors and their clear visibility to the naked eye created the perfect storm of desirability, and collectors always seek coins that stand out clearly, because the more dramatic the era, the higher the excitement and demand, which directly translates into price. And if we think about how minting errors occur, the process itself is fascinating, because pennies are struck by pressing a blank copper-plated zinc planchet between two dies with enormous force, and if anything goes slightly wrong in alignment, die preparation, or pressure control, the resulting coins may show anomalies. But since the mint constantly checks quality, very few of these slip out, making survivors highly valuable. And another possibility for the 2013 penny's value was the theory that a small number may have been struck on experimental planchets with slightly different compositions, as errors in feeding the wrong planchets into presses can occasionally happen, though extremely rarely, which again adds another layer of intrigue for collectors. And what makes the story even more exciting is that this coin didn't just sit in a museum but was actually found in circulation, passing unnoticed through countless hands before someone with a keen eye spotted its unusual features, proving once again that rare treasures can be hiding right under our noses. And if we trace back the history of famous era pennies like the 1955 double die, the 1969 S double die, or the 1982 small date copper penny, we see a consistent pattern where coins that combine rarity, visibility of the era, and historical significance always command astronomical prices. So in the case of the 2013 penny, collectors immediately recognized it as part of that tradition, a modern rarity destined to be remembered as one of the most valuable pennies ever struck. And while skeptics sometimes argue that paying millions for a 1-cent coin is irrational, for serious collectors it is about owning a unique artifact of American history, a tangible mistake from the mint that no one can replicate, something that combines artistry, craftsmanship, and human error into a single piece of metal that tells a larger story. And as demand for rare coins continues to grow worldwide, with collectors in countries like China, India, and Europe increasingly participating in American coin auctions, the value of such unique coins only continues to rise, because rarity plus demand equals value. And as long as collectors seek the pinnacle of numismatic treasures, coins like the 2013 penny will remain at the top. And it is not just about wealth but about prestige, because owning such a coin places one among an elite group of collectors with items so rare they are virtually irreplaceable. And it is worth thinking about how many more such coins might still be out there undiscovered, sitting in jars of loose change, tucked away in dresser drawers, or passing through cash registers unnoticed, waiting for someone to recognize their hidden value. Which is why videos like this aim to inspire viewers to look closely at their pennies, because you never know when a small detail might reveal a fortune. And speaking of details, the coin also showed slight doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust," further adding to its list of anomalies, which again underscores the theme that multiple layered errors significantly increase value. And the grading companies confirmed its authenticity, giving it a high mint state grade, which is another crucial factor, because condition always matters. And while circulated error coins can still be valuable, mint state specimens command far higher prices. So when this 2013 penny went to auction in pristine condition with all of its errors clearly visible, it ignited a bidding war that drove its final price to an incredible $2.1 million, a price that shocked even seasoned numismatists, but also set a new benchmark for modern era coins, reminding everyone that rare treasures are not limited to ancient coins or centuries-old rarities but can be found even in recent issues if the right combination of mistakes occurs. And in the broader context of coin collecting, such stories play an important role in keeping the hobby vibrant and engaging, because they spark curiosity among new collectors, motivate seasoned experts to keep searching, and create headlines that capture the imagination of the general public. And as long as stories like this circulate, coin collecting will never lose its magic, because the idea that ordinary change could hold extraordinary wealth is a timeless appeal. So the 2013 penny worth $2.1 million is not just about metal, mint marks, or die cracks, but about the thrill of discovery, the passion of collecting, and the eternal possibility that the next great treasure might already be in your pocket. And as we close this exploration of the coin's remarkable journey, the lesson is clear: always pay attention to the small details, because sometimes the difference between 1 cent and $2.1 million is just a tiny minting mistake away.